Hi, this is Marshall Almroad again with another story. Stories are fun. I like telling them, so here we go. This is the James Hazelton story according to Marshall. Now, you might hear it a little different according to James because that's his side. So, I'm working out at a government project, and people get to know who I am because I'm not quiet anymore. So, I get in trouble for being a Christian when you shouldn't really be getting in trouble for being a Christian, but it seems like I did anyway. And so my Bible's there on the table, and people are going, "What is that? It's a Bible." So yeah, I got myself in trouble just by being a Christian because they didn't think I should be there, shouldn't be a Christian. I had one manager tell me, we hired a worker, not a Christian. Leave your Christianity at home. And I told him he'd just entered the realm of illegal speech. So he wasn't real happy about that, but he lost because this is still America. Freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. Anyway, so I'm at work, and this guy contacts me at work. And he says, "Hey, I understand you know why Mormonism is wrong." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, my son just took the Mormon missionary lessons. He wants to join the Mormon Church, but he's under 18, so he has to have my signature, and I don't want to sign for him to be a Mormon." I said, "Okay, well, let's meet. We'll talk, and we'll just meet with James when we get done." So we had a meeting, and of course by this time the Mormons knew who I was, so he didn't want to tell James my name, so he just said, "There's this guy I work with, and we need to meet over at his house. He's going to talk to you about the faith and what's right and wrong and stuff like that." So James, somehow he kind of had James by the arm, like, "Well, okay, Dad, I'll do it." I don't know how he did it, but he got James to come over. So James came over, and I presented to him why Mormonism was wrong every single night. And it was like a 2-hour presentation. Then he went home, and then next week we do it again. So every week he had to come over. We did that for a couple months, and then I thought, you know what? Let's do the first vision. And I have a buddy who had just come out of the Mormon Church, and he had studied the first vision. He said, "Marshall, let me present the first vision." So we went over to an ex-Mormon just freshly out of the Mormon Church by about a year or two, and went over there and in Pasco. And his name is Jerry Allen. So hi, Jerry. Anyway, and so Jerry presents the first vision 2 weeks in a row to James Hazelton. And then it was supposed to meet back at my house the next week, and James didn't go. He just kind of skipped. He wasn't home when Dad was ready to leave. And so Dad met me the next day, and he says, "I don't know what to do about James." He said, his girlfriend wants him to marry her and join the Mormon Church. He says, "I just don't know what to do." And I remember we're walking on the sidewalk around one of the buildings in this government project, and we're walking around and during lunch, and we're talking, and I said, "Well, one thing is for sure." He said, "What's that?" "James will never be Mormon in here." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because he knows too much. He can't be Mormon here or in here. The only way he'll join the Mormon Church is if he compromises." So he goes, "Really? Are you sure?" And I go, "Absolutely. He knows too much." And so that's the last time I heard from James Hazelton. And, I just didn't know anything. His dad was happy that maybe he wouldn't join. And sure enough, he didn't join. So about 3 years later, I get a call on my phone. I'm down in my basement, and it's a wall phone back in those days. Pick up the wall phone. "Hi, this is Marshall." "Hi, this is James Hazelton. You remember me?" I go, "Yeah, I remember you, James." He goes, "Well, I think I'm the guy." And I go, "I know exactly who you are, James." And I think I owe you an apology because when we were studying, one time I just stopped. His parents were there, and I told them they had to be in the corner because, they don't interrupt. And so just me and James were talking. And after about the third or fourth time, I said, "James, what do you think of Marshall Elmroad?" And he says, "You're some kind of jerk." And they go, "Oh." I said, "Don't worry about it. People called me worse than that. Don't worry about it. It's okay. No offense taken." So we just went on, and he got to, at least say that. So now he's trying to say, "Well, I owe you an apology." And I said, "Look, James, no offense taken. No apology necessary. You said I asked for an honest answer, and you gave me an honest answer. So we're good." He goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "Well, do you ever take anybody in and train them?" I go, "Sure I do." He says, "Would you train me? Because I've been talking to these Catholics up here at college, and they don't get that Mormonism's wrong." I said, "No problem, James. I only require one thing. When I train you, you get to go to Utah with me, and we witness in the streets. Actually get some practice." And he says, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah. If you don't want to do that, then I'm not going to train you." He goes, "Okay." Big mistake. So he went to Utah with me and fell in love with witnessing to Mormons. So then he went to Calvary Chapel, and then he went down to their Bible college and went to Bible college. And then he got recruited as a youth pastor in St. George, Utah, and he's been a pastor ever since. And so James Hazelton, great guy, been to Utah a lot, witnesses to Mormons, lives in Utah now because he has a heart for Mormons. He wants them to know the truth, and he knows what it's like to be deceived. And by the way, his dad is a Freemason, and I'm an ex-Mason, so we had that talk too. So I would just say this: it doesn't matter who you are. If you think Mormonism is true, probably ought to talk to James Hazelton or Marshall Almerode or Randy Sweet or maybe Ed Decker, or you could talk to Sandra Tanner. There's lots of people to talk to that know something, that have done their homework. They know what's going on. There's guys all over the place. We got guys in Texas, got people all over the place. So talk to somebody that knows something. And so thank you, James Hazelton. God bless you. We'll see you later.